Hey everybody, thank you for joining today. It looks like it's slowed down in terms of folks coming into the waiting room. So we'll go ahead and get started. I know we are scheduled to go for about an hour. We're going to go for significantly less. But really wanted to just be able to share with you all a little bit more about constitutions and ways to think about setting up your constitutions for your student organization structure in particular. My name is Bobby Kuntzman. I serve as the Assistant Vice President for Campus Life. That means I work specifically with our student involvement and leadership team. In addition to, I work with our conference and event services team. So if you have reservations in Penn, outdoor spaces like Able, Quad, things like such as that, our venue and production management team. So those are any of the spaces that are artistic type venues. That also includes Page, Reynolds, Griffith, the Ruby, Arts Annex, Student Affairs IT, and Full Frame, the film festival. So it's a great time to be at Duke. We're doing a lot of good things. I'm glad you all are here today. And so we're gonna spend some time talking a little bit more about what does it mean to what are our minimum requirements for student organizations in terms of what you put into a constitution, and then top 10 things we want you all to consider thinking about including in your constitutions. These are things that ultimately will help you increase efficiency in some ways and help you troubleshoot some of the things that we often see coming into our side of the house when student organizations don't necessarily have these components built into their constitution. Open the floor for questions, track attendance, and then I'll stay on for folks that may have further questions that are probably more one-on-one that might not necessarily be important for the other 85 people in the space. And if you have questions as I'm going through it, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm gonna try to manage all of it with my talking points, the screen, and the chat at the same time to make sure I got everything covered for y'all. But as we think about student organization constitutions in particular, there are really two minimum requirements that we require for you to have in your constitution. First and foremost is the non-discrimination statement. And what this is the exact language that is on the screen that should be incorporated into your student organization constitution. And what that really means is it's saying you are following university policy to say, as a student organization that is recognized and registered with Duke University, you are adhering to our policy of prohibited discrimination, harassment, or any related misconduct on what we would identify as a protected class that has been federally identified by the US government and also state identified as well. And so what we ask for y'all to do is include this language word for word in your constitution in order to make sure you're in alignment with university policies and practices. The second minimum requirement that we ask of you all is to actually identify a primary point of contact, and that should be named in the Constitution. And when I say primary point of contact, what you're not going to necessarily say is Bobby Kuntzman will maintain the organization in good standing. What should be is choose which officer position will be in that role. So the president will maintain, or you may say it's the secretary, or you might have a vice president of communications. What you really want to do is ensure that you are identifying a student officer position. And I want to just emphasize student officer position, and it shouldn't necessarily be the student organization advisor. So those are the two minimum requirements that we are asking of folks to make sure that you are including within your constitution. Beyond that, we really want to ask you all to give thought to, like, these are 10 considerations of what might help your constitution be as effective as it can be. And the better and the stronger your constitution, the reality is it leads to the success of your student organization. It often leads to the longevity of the student organization. And if you are often changing things every 2 months, it doesn't help with the long-term consistency of what you were trying to do and what you were trying to accomplish. And so that brings us actually to our very first point. Let's talking about clarity and consistency. A clear mission statement a clear purpose and objectives are vital because they really guide your organization's activities. They guide the decisions you all are making. They ensure that everyone understands what the purpose of the organization is and if it's the right organization for them. When you have clarity and consistency established, it really helps inform uniform decision-making processes. In a lot of instances, it helps to prevent confusion and it ensures that everyone's on the same page, which is often crucial for maintaining order and direction. And then the last idea that is really centered on this is it's standardizing your operational procedures to help maintain consistency and efficiency on how your organization functions day to day. Next, we have governance and accountability. And by defining the roles and the duties of the members, it helps members understand their responsibilities of what is expected of them, which helps an organization run smoothly. And we're not just talking about the members, but we're also talking about the officers. What are the roles? What are the responsibilities? What might be one officer's role, and how might they be mission creeping into someone else's role versus maybe they have conversations around collaborating? What's also really critical in this moment is it gives a member a clear understanding of their own rights within an organization. You wouldn't, a lot of folks don't realize we have a lot of members that come into the student involvement and leadership office, often concerned with how their student organization is treating them or how the student organization is running. What the team here in the student involvement office does is they go and they look at your constitutions and they help have guided conversations with members on how they can have conversations with officers in the organization. How do they express their concerns? How do they navigate what it means to do this, versus what it means to do that? When you think about governance and accountability, it also provides an opportunity to setting expectations for conduct and performance. And really, what is that? What do you hope of your members? What do you expect of them when they show up in a meeting? Do you want an atmosphere that is professional and respectful? Do you want an atmosphere that is playful and fun? But really thinking about as you identify those expectations, it helps guide folks so they know what they're looking for. The other real important component of this is there's checks and balances that are in place to prevent any one person from having too much control within an organization. And the way this helps is it just really keeps you in a place where you're avoiding potential abuses of power. It's ensuring fairness for all members to engage. And it also, if officers are struggling, it also provides a space where officers can also have a true conversation and say, but this is the document that we have created to help guide us in the work that we are doing. Um, Recognizing that there can be conflict resolution is another key area to really define in a constitution. So having a clear steps for addressing disputes ensures that issues are resolved fairly and promptly, which is important for maintaining harmony. When you have it outlined in your constitution, it's easy to say, here we have A, here we have B, here we have C. We need to engage in it across this board. So sometimes when we navigate conflict, it's very subjective. The Constitution offers an objective way of engaging in that. It also creates a structured approach to reduce potential misunderstandings and disagreements, making it easier to manage conflicts. Your constitution can offer a neutral framework for mediation to maintain that objectivity and ensures that all the parties are often heard and respected. What often you have to also navigate with conflict resolution is what might due process look like? And you may have a member that is not necessarily abiding to the community expectations that have been established. So sometimes you're in this space where you're like, it's time that this member is not in alignment with us. How are we going to approach this? Having a process of conflict resolution and engaging in that conversation and setting up the standards and setting up the action steps says, okay, we've done A, we've done B, we've done C, but now we might be in a place where we're going to ask a member to step down from our organization. And so you can think about what does incorporating a due process into your conflict resolution areas start to look like. Continuity and stability are critical for any organization. a strong constitution helps preserve your organization's core values and mission, even as leadership changes over time. We see leadership changes from year to year. Sometimes we see them from semester to semester. The Constitution helps to create that continuity. The Constitution establishes procedures to help guide new leaders in ensuring that their transitions are smooth. It helps new leaders understand what their roles and responsibilities are, and it helps in that instance that the organization continues to remain stable, even though the leadership continues to change. The advantage of this is it protects the organization from the disruptions that happen during leadership transitions and continues to help keep the organization on course and help the organization continue to grow. University and legal compliance is essential to protect your organization. So one of the most important parts as you all navigate your work as a student org leader is you need to ensure that your organization is aligning with university policies and regulations, especially in order to avoid any conflicts or make sure or to put your organization in bad standing in a way in which you don't have access to student fee funds, those types of things. So really, it's part of this is really ensuring that you are in alignment with this is how everything works. It's not event registrations. We're requesting funds. We've got funds in our SOPC accounts. So it's a matter of keeping track of all of that. Um, One of the things that's always great is governing or when your own documents prevent any type of potential legal issues and liability. So if you have, for instance, responsibilities outlined and everybody's following what's outlined in there, that is important. But when you think about the university compliance, that also comes into trademark policies, that it comes into if you're posting information on social media or videos and you're using music that might be copyrighted, we actually cover the cost to make sure that you all have access to those licenses when you do certain types of things like that. That's the advantage of being recognized and ensuring that you're following university processes. Uh, we always encourage you all to create proper documentation, record keeping. Part of that is it's increasing transparency. Part of that is it helps build trust with the members. If you have documents that are open to other folks, it helps create external legitimacy in some ways. The one thing we would encourage you to do is always think about at the end of the year, turning in some of your documents into university archives. What are some of your top pictures from events that you all have had? What are some memos you may have issued or statements you have made? That way, if you turn them into the libraries for university archives, and when you walk into the library, you probably have seen at some point, they always have gallery setups around historical student orgs here on campus. It lets you 20 years from now, 30 years from now, your organization may be one of those that they want to highlight when they do those types of things. Membership engagement is enhanced by clear guidelines. So having clear membership criteria, the benefits that attract and retain active members, which is always key for vibrant organizations. Defining again your members' rights and responsibilities encourages participation and involvement, making members feel valued and integral to the organization itself. Clear articulated membership benefits help enhance the engagement as well. It ensures that members also understand what they gain from being part of the organization. Strategic planning would be our seventh idea here, and strategic planning provides direction for your organization. Setting long-term goals and objectives gives your organization clear direction and focus. Having a roadmap for achieving these goals keeps your organization on track. It helps you stay focused on your mission. And it also creates an opportunity for regular evaluation of what you all are doing. Is it essential that you're doing this, or do you need to change and do something different? It helps you measure progress. It helps you make the necessary adjustments to ensure that you're staying aligned with your strategic goals. Financial oversight. I should switch the slide. Financial oversight ensures responsible management of funds. Establishing a budget and financial management protocols is crucial for ensuring responsible spending and financial health. Promoting transparency in financial transactions builds trust among members and stakeholders. And then responsible handling of funds maintains the organization's integrity and credibility. And I want to emphasize this part. One of the things that we've often see is you may have multiple people that are navigating spending for a student organization. And so if you have your vice president of finance or treasurer, whatever title you might give it, one of the things you want to probably activate is in your constitution is how are they reporting back out to student org officers? How are they reporting back to the membership of where you all are at and your current budget standings? What is your plan for the funds? How are you planning an event or travel? Um, how are you making sure your dollar goes the furthest it can go? Part of that is really about transparency, so everybody has an understanding. If that often happens in a vacuum, what happens is if that person were to leave, a lot of folks then are trying to figure out, oh, we've got to close the gap. What do we do? How do we do it? So really, this is one area that we would strongly suggest you spend a lot of time thinking about. How do we build in the financial oversight within the student organization? So if it does have to be transitioned in some way, it's not starting over from scratch. Recognition and credibility are important for your growth and support. A well-structured organization gains recognition and credibility within the university and within the broader community, which continues to help attract support. Sometimes that support is financial, sometimes that support is staffing, your advisors, how folks step in, how departments may step in and support you. The strong reputation often makes your organization also attractive to potential sponsors that might be within the university or outside of the university. And building trust with the members and the community is always essential to continue sustained success and support for your organization. The 10th one is really centered on adaptability and growth. So as you think about your constitution, we ask for y'all to keep thought about what might be sections that allow for amendments to your governing documents. What some student organizations will do is they will have a basic constitution, and then they might have a code of some sort or additional bylaws that supplement the constitution. Give thought to, should your constitution be a permanent document that we rarely change, and then your bylaws offer you some flexibility? Or do you want to have that all in one document? And it probably depends on the size, what type of business you all are doing. That might influence how you want to go about that. But allowing it for amendments in your governing documents will ensure that your organization can adapt to the changing needs and the circumstances. Incorporating new ideas and initiatives keeps your organization dynamic and innovative and helping you stay relevant. And then supporting sustainable growth while maintaining core values ensures that your organization can expand without losing sight of what makes it unique. So when we think about the 10 areas, the 10 opportunities to really build your constitution, really reflect on clarity and consistency, governance and accountability, conflict resolution, continuity and stability, the university legal compliance, membership engagement, strategic planning, financial oversight, and then the recognition and credibility and adaptability and growth. So um, as you all build your constitutions, one of the things that I'll add is anybody from the student involvement and leadership team is always willing to sit down and hear you out. If you've got some ideas, if you're trying to fix things, but you're not sure how to do it, the team is ready to do it, support you. Count me in. I love constitutions, although they can be really like in the weeds. What I have seen is they have always helped an organization be better. When an organization does not have a strong constitution, what often happens is we're trying to help them be their best and navigate it, but typically we use our constitution in a way to support you in navigating conflict. And what often happens is because there is a lot of gaps in the constitutions, the conflict part rises real quick and it makes it really challenging. The student involvement and leadership team will help you all navigate that conflict. But the reality is, If it's not written out, if it's not drafted in a way, we're going to use your governing documents as the first step in this process. So give thought to how you grow and develop that. The other thing that I'll add is as you upload your constitutions as part of the registration process, what will begin happening is an audit, and we're going to start auditing every couple years. I believe it's going to be 3-year intervals to review folks' constitutions and offer recommendations on opportunities to improve your constitution. So again, you still need the two minimums in there. Everything else you get to navigate on your own. But we want to make sure that you all have the opportunity to be your best selves within your organizations. And having a strong constitution and governing documents, it's just essential for the clarity, stability, and the growth of your organizations. These documents really are the backbone of your operations, and they are the ones that guide you through the conflicts. It guides you through transitions, and it helps you really imagine what new opportunities there are for you. So it's a quick presentation, but we wanted to make sure you had some of this information in front of you as we go through this. What's going to be key right now is you're going to have to check in. So I'm going to give you all a slide for a moment. You should scan this QR code. It's going to require you to sign into Duke Groups. If you're unable to scan the QR code, why don't you message me your net ID, and then I will keep track of that and get you in the system in a different way. And then what will happen is we're going to ask you all to make sure you take the post-workshop survey, because once you take the post-workshop survey, that will give you the full credit that you need. And then we'll go from there. The other thing that I will say, I'll go back to that slide in a minute so you have it. Oh, wait, it is there. So we have more sessions. Our next level leadership session will be September 18th. So keep an eye on these dates here. And then we'll go from there. So the slides will be online, and I think the recording will be online, but at least the slides will be. But if y'all ever have any questions, my name's Bobby. I work in the Bryan Center. I'm in 101. Always happy to connect and talk about these things a little bit more. And if we can support you, count us in, because your success is Duke's success, and that's why we love student organizations. I see the net IDs coming in, so I'll keep track of those and move those and make sure you all get in the system for attendance by the end of the day. So thank you all for coming. And with that, have a great one.